Woody didn't leave the area and go to California himself because he was looking for work or thought that he could find a job working in the fields. I mean, that wasn't what he was doing. Mostly he was just curious. He was wondering what was going on. He wanted to go with the people and see what they were experiencing. So he left Pampa and hitchhiked across the country to Los Angeles and saw what was going on with the migrant workers who were literally starving because they got to California and found out that they weren't welcome there. They didn't have jobs that would pay them a living salary. They were living in Hoovervilles. And he started questioning exactly what are we doing for each other and how can I help by being that spokesperson. In the late 30s, he was on the radio with Lefty Lou, Maxine Chrisman, and they received thousands of fan letters. So they were highly popular radio program. And he found, based on that, that he could make an impact to be the spokesperson for his people, to speak up about what was going on and to support workers' rights. So he used that as his platform to advocate for the disenfranchised.
One of the things that we know about Woody Guthrie from his own story, as well as the way that he's described it to other people, is he shared the experience of the people that were called the Okies. So he was on the road with them. He experienced what it was like to ride in a boxcar with hobos. He experienced what it was like to ride in a broken down jalopy as far as it would go. He experienced what it was like to not have food and to go to a next community hoping he could get just a little bit. He experienced what it was like to try and find work when there was none to be had. Because of his creative and artistic skill, he was able to mold all this into songs that could then provide a cathartic experience for the other Okies who'd gone west as well with him, however they could get there.
Yes, I'm going to do everything I can to help these people. Just you wait and see. That was his mission. That was the mission, that was the whole context behind that idea of his writing "This Machine Kills Fascists" on his guitar. He originally wrote that on his guitar when he was serving in the military, and then after the war was over, you know, his friends would say, "Woody, why are you still writing that on your guitars? Hitler's dead. We're not fighting fascism anymore." And he said, "Yes, we are. We still have people that are trying to oppress the common man. And I need to use my tool, my voice, this guitar, to fight against that." So his views are very complex, and those people who try to categorize him and put Woody Guthrie in a box, don't do that. With any complex character, he defies that. And as most of us, I think, feel we should, as we broaden our horizons, as we travel, as we read more, as we experience things through others' eyes, our viewpoints might change. And that's not a bad thing. That's just meaning that we're open-minded.
I think one of the reasons that we associate Woody Guthrie's music with the so-called common man of the 1930s is his lyrics are in the lingo of the common man of the 1930s. In addition to that, he was not a polished performer or someone who had an oratorical style that was pompous or anything of that nature. He was a very down-to-earth person, and he had an Oklahoma accent, which made him sound like he came from a rural environment. Mixing that rural sound with his witticisms as well as his wisdom created something that the common man could identify with.
The Dust Bowl ballads are telling the story of the common people, those people who are struggling just to get by. And even in today's world, the vast separation between those who have so much and those who still struggle every single day, that still speaks to us.
With regard to Woody Guthrie and Okies, he considered himself one, and he could because he was from Oklahoma. And he had the experience of going west and seeing all of these migrant workers trying to go to California where they could get work. This all came about as a result of California issuing a call for workers for their agricultural fields. But instead of the 2,000 or 3,000 that they needed, 200,000 people started heading west to California. So what Woody Guthrie then was a musical voice that could replicate the experiences, the trials, the hopes, the dreams, the frustrations of all the people who'd come from this region, Arkansas, Kansas, the Texas Panhandle, and went west looking for work. His songs really were able to embody their experiences because he went along with them. And then when he gets to California and he's working on the radio, that gave people from this area someone that sounded like them on the air. And once that circle started of there being fans of his particular sound and him being able to provide songs that discuss their experience, that just created that momentum that made him popular.